Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What is going on, everyone? It's Jeranism, back with a live video for you tonight. Gravity and other nonsense and things holding us back. So I want to cover a few of those, so stay tuned for that. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. I heard I had like 900 people listening last time live. That's pretty incredible, so thank you for that. And then also, something must have happened on my ISS video. That has the most amount of views I've ever had in a 2 or 3 day stretch. So whoever shared that or whatever you did, keep doing it. That was nice. Thank you. Appreciate that. It was nice to finally see it because I did have my doubts about, was the ISS the shape, or at least was the craft that's flying over the head or what everybody's seeing? Because whenever I filmed it, I could only get a bright dot. I could never get the shape, no matter how hard I tried. So finally got the shape, which tells me that there is a craft of some sort, in my opinion. I do see a lot of high-altitude photos on that one website, eoj.jsc. Maybe we'll look at that in a little bit. And I think that there is some craft that's taking those images, so perhaps it is the ISS craft. And again, like my video said, I don't think anybody's in it. I think there's plenty of evidence to back that up. And we can just keep looking at things like stars and the fact that we can't get a straight answer from astronauts whether or not we can see stars in space. And there's many other reasons to doubt the actuality of people getting into rockets and shooting up into space. I don't think it happens. I think there's a flip of the screen every single time, and there's a reason why. Definitely a reason why. So thanks everybody for joining me. I also want to start out with some general housekeeping kind of things. For those interested, we are going, or I've decided to attend a meetup on Friday. That is the 8th, I believe. Let me check my calendar. Let's see here. We are looking at June. Yeah, Friday the 8th. That's from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And it's going to be in Arcadia at 405 South Santa Anita Avenue in Arcadia, California, 91006. The reason I decided to go, well, I heard that Rob Skiba was going to be there, and I heard that Mark Sargent was going to be there, and I heard Patricia was going to be there. And then I heard that there was going to be a experiment on Sunday at the Salton Sea. Now, I don't know enough about it to give you much details. I've been trying to find out myself, but from what I hear, they're going to be doing some sort of flat Earth experiment, and supposedly kind of like the Hawking one. So I want to be there because I want to make sure that they aren't hawking it, which means completely faking it from top to bottom. So I will be there on Friday night for the hangout or the meetup, and then we'll also be down at the Salton Sea on Sunday to keep everyone in line. Going to check Nat Geo. If they try and get spherical on us, I will put them in their place. So we shall see. I want to be there to film it because I don't know, let's say that we get down there, they film a flat Earth experiment that shows the Earth to be flat, and then they never air it. Well, I want to have the proof of that incident, and so I'm going to be down there filming it myself with my own camera, making sure that they abide by all rules and regulations. And we'll see what happens. So I don't know the experiment yet, so if you ask me that, I don't have an answer for you. I don't even know if they're doing it with lasers or what is their plan. But if it's bunk, I will call bunk. If it's bullshit, I will call bullshit. And if it's cool, I will say that it's pretty cool. So that's what's coming up this week and this weekend. So if you're down in the Southern California area and you're not out, what do they call it, catching 10 or hanging 5? I'm not really sure what the surfer mannerisms are, but something like that. Something to do with grabbing some sort of number, whatever that number might be. I don't know. I'm not a surfer, so you got me on that one. So that's part of my housekeeping. The other part of the housekeeping is to the patrons. Be on the lookout. I'm going to be jumping to a different platform again. I really like Telegram. A lot of people like it. It is basically a chat app that you can use on your phone. It's also got a computer program, but it's really cool. It's an easy way. You can search anything that you've ever said, so basically it keeps track of all conversations. It'll be easy for me to respond to chats during live shows like this. I can just have Telegram open and do everything from there. There's just a lot of other little things that I really like about it. So be on the lookout for a link to that. It'll be the easiest way for us to communicate. And I also have a video coming out for patrons within a day or two. It is going to be my, I know it's a little bit late. But I think it's better than not being late. It's on the Parkland happenings down in Florida, because basically, I know what I can and can't get away with on YouTube, and this particular video I cannot. So it's going to be for patrons, and you will see that as you always do on the website and updated there. So that's about 2 days away, and if you're not a patron, then you should be one. It's cheap, it's easy, and if you're upset that I charge whatever, $5 a person per month or whatever for it, that probably is because you like my videos. And then in that case, then you should throw $5 my way. And if not, it'll end up on YouTube in a matter of days. I know how it goes. So don't worry about it. You'll get the video. At least it won't come from my channel, and I won't get shut down for it. So that's what's coming up as far as that goes. Now let's get on to today. I wanted to talk a little bit about some nonsense going on. One from Slice Bar came, but the other one I had to address just because, I've given this guy more rope than anybody should be given. Let me get you over there so we can see what I'm talking about. And that is one Matthew Boylan, Boyland, whatever his name is. Been great to the guy. Never said a bad word about him. Had him over for a barbecue. He left telling people that there was FBI upstairs in my house. He numerous times has said different things, like my wife and I sell baby skin journals, which he got from an Event Skeptic video. That's a really good quality place to go get your information. And that we sell vials of blood, which again he got from an Event Skeptic video. See, you got to pick and choose where you can. But I never said anything. It's like, all right, whatever. And talked to him this whole time. We've texted back and forth, and I was actually looking at possibly going to this little thing that they're having here in Vegas. Was contemplating it. Wasn't certainly bought in. But then I saw this most recently, this video. I don't know if you guys are watching the stuff that he's doing, but it's just, you gotta put out little things when just people are just talking mess, don't know what they're talking about. Let's listen from here.
PayPal, RSVP, $20 donation.
You don't want somebody coming in and saying that it's you. If you've been like, oh, I'm going, and then someone shows up and they're like, it's me, Ding-a-ling McDing-dong, and Ding-a-ling McDing-dong shows up and he's already inside, then that's going to cause a problem. So that's why we want you to do PayPal.
Yeah, so MGTV got a hold of the bootleg of Behind the Curve. Do not use your hard-earned money to support a movie that's mocking Flat Earth.
I know.
So it's for free. He put it on Steam.
And if you're supporting this movie, you need to reconcile, why you're supporting this if you're a legitimate flat earther.
Yeah. Because I keep forgetting to say this. So he has it on Steam. I don't know how he got a hold of it. So watch it for free. It's just missing 3 scenes at the end, which are apparently the typical conclusion. These people are insane. Well, first off, showing a flat Earth experiment fail, which is Jaron and Dubé. It's very important that you understand that footage.
So it's very important that you understand. He's about, this better be the truth. If I ever tell you it's very important that you understand something, I'm probably going to follow that up with the truth, right? Let's see.
Of Jaron with a laser is...
sponsored by Dubé.
Well, they're working together at that point.
Holy smokes.
Eric Dubé and Jaron did a huge mishap. I don't know...
Anything?
Why the laser experiment that failed is in this movie that was over 3 years ago, especially since Jaron knows it failed, and especially when Jaron took money from Eric Dubé, of all people, to produce a failed experiment, and everybody knows it didn't work. So I don't know how the footage got there. I mean, was Jaron still leaving a failed flat Earth experiment up on his channel? I mean, and
it's the little inconsistencies that you people don't keep up with.
It's the little inconsistencies that you people don't keep up with, okay? It's the little inconsistencies when these people are so far off base that it's ridiculous. First of all, they're talking about a laser experiment that was 3 years ago. The laser experiment where I met Bob because Bob donated the laser. Then when we had the laser, I put out a feeler saying, hey, if I get $200, I could get a professional film guy to come and film it, and Eric Dubay donated the $200. Remember, this is 3 years ago. Now, if you're looking for that video, which, oops, what did I do here? Oh, sorry. If you're looking for that video, we will go there real quick. Let's just check this out. We're going to go to YouTube here. Where is this video? So we're going to go to, let's duplicate that. And if you need that one, you go to jeranism 4-mile test. So he just said there was a 4-mile, laser test that I did with Dubay that failed. And he's completely wrong. So I just want to point that out, that he has no idea what he's talking about. The 4-mile test that was done was actually a complete success. This here is the professional film guy filming from across the water 4 miles away. And you can see that I've linked up these 2 videos, and I'm shining the green laser at the bottom of the white board. Maybe to rewind that here. And you can see it synced up with the same time as the green light is appearing in the camera here. Now, you can be like the geniuses I've seen, like the event skeptics who say, dude, Jaron expects you to buy this, and it's 2 different days. Look at the sun is out on one day and it's not on the other. It's like, no, the sun is setting. We're at the beach. The sun's setting over there, and it's dark behind us. That's how it works. Anyway, so this was 3 years ago. This is the one that Eric Dubay paid $200 for this cameraman. The first night we went out and did it, we couldn't do it because we tried to shoot the laser across the lake, and it got over the other, or across the ocean, got over the other side. The beam was too big. And so we went back the next night and had the cameraman shoot across at us, and he could see the light at 6 inches above the ground. So that was number one thing. Oops, I'm probably not even showing you this, aren't I? I bet you I'm not. Unbelievable. I'm such a loser. I had it already, too. We'll transition. Sorry. It's coming. There you go. We'll rewind it a little bit. Sorry about that. I was getting better at that, but not this time. And let's see. And I do tell you, you can see, clear. This is kind of hard because I had to make a small screen, so it's hard to see. But if you, I think the link is here or here, wherever. But you can get the actual high def video. Oh, there, you can see it right here, right above where my mouse is, if you can see that. And when I'm shining it at the ground, you don't see anything. But as soon as it comes back up onto the board, at 6 inches is where he can see it, and up, obviously higher than that. So right there, you see nothing, and then as we go up the board, then you will see it wherever my mouse is, right there. So it's hard to see. I'm sure you can't see it being played over now 3 different bounces. But check that out. But anyway, just wanted to point that out, that in this video is just go to jeranism 4-mile test. So to start off, he's wrong. Eric Dubay and I did not work together. It was 3 years ago, and he was kind enough when I said I needed $1 from as many people as possible to purchase a cameraman. He came forward and paid the $200 right off the bat. And then I put up a video or a little one of these annotations we used to be able to put up that said, okay, everything's fine. We've purchased the filmographer, whatever you call it, the photographer. And even the worst part about that was he came out for the first day when we couldn't get it done, and I had to pay for him the second day out of my pocket because he had to come back the next day to do this one. So anyway, let's go back to, and I'll bring you with me, make sure I don't forget that. Let's go back to more nonsense from these two. Remember, it's a little inconsistencies that you people aren't following along with, I guess. Oh, did it go back? Yep. All right, let's finish this off.
And you wonder why are you saying that they're fake? But you don't know any of this.
Eric Dubay funded that experiment, and now Eric Dubay funded the last scene in a movie that's a hit piece on the flat Earth.
Wrong.
Literally.
Wrong.
Like literally. There's make no illusions about this.
Make no illusions. Literally, make no illusions. I mean, you couldn't be more off base. The movie Behind the Curve, I got contacted by these directors, whatever, and I'm not saying I agree with the movie. I don't. But regardless of that, they contacted me and said, hey, can we come film your experiment? I thought the experiment would be a success. I said, great, I don't have to film it. I'll have them film it, and they'll make it look more professional. They came out and filmed it twice because we tried it twice, and both times the beam diameter was too big. And then from what I've heard, I haven't seen the movie, but they basically took a part of the middle of the experiment when there was a moment And you can even ask, there was a globe believer there who was right there with me the whole time. All of us walked away from that day saying, well, nothing was proven here, because we saw moments in time where things were looking like a flat earth, and we saw moments in time where things were looking like the curved earth. And there was one particular moment where we had somebody going in and out from behind a screen or one of those panels, and they were holding a light about chest high, which is about as high as the holes were cut in the panels. And we told them, okay, walk back, walk behind the thing. Remember, we're looking from 3 miles away through a P900. And we see him walk behind the panel, but we don't see the light. Now, if the earth is flat, we should see through every panel. We should see every hole. And there was no light there. So we said, hold it up above your head. And when he held it up above his head, we saw the light. So I said, interesting. I guess that's how they end the movie, from what I've heard. Now, there was moments earlier and after that where he was walking back and forth with the light at his chest, and we could see it. And then we said, hold it above your head. And when he held it above his head, we couldn't see it. So what the movie crew did was, kind of what you should expect. They cherry-picked the experiment. From what I've heard, though, they didn't even mention what the experiment was about, what we were looking for, what the equations were, nothing. So it's harmless. But this guy's got to go off on a tangent and now say that I'm with Dubé and we're funding this known loss. No, it's just an experiment that was filmed, and they're going to use it how they're going to use it. And if they want to be dirtballs and do that, that's fine. Let's continue.
Eric Dubé gave money to Jaron, and he screwed up with amateur Keystone cops, befuddled flat earther trying to figure out a laser. Really embarrassing Keystone cop situation. Then it goes to a psychiatrist saying these people are not well, and then it ends with an astrophysicist who's never been to space, or is a liar if he went to space and says this is true when I painted it, saying we're all lost and we don't know physics and the education system's falling apart. The education system is falling apart because it was a cult. It was belief, and now we're asking questions because all globes are an image. Paint it. All globes are.
I don't remember if he says anything else. The point of it all is that I make a point to not try and say things about people unless I know it's true. Because as a researcher, I consider myself a researcher, I know the implications if I were to accuse somebody of something. If I were to say ODD is a shill, if I say that, then what happens is if ODD is not, well, what would ODD think of me? My reputation with him is gone because he knows that he's not, and I just made a claim, so obviously my research skills are shit. Well, that's basically what's happened to every single person that I've watched who's come along and said something about me that isn't true. Because I'm like, okay, well, if that's how you research, Eric Dubé, if that's how you research some of these other people that are doing the same thing, it's what it doesn't bother me. It's just it chalks another one off the list of people that I watch or respect their research, because obviously their research is crap. And I tried to give this guy as much rope as I could, but when you start listening to things from people like MGTV, these are not researchers. Okay, you can't just throw accusations out all day long, and when you get one right out of 50, call yourself a researcher. It's just not the way it works. So just wanted to point that out, that whatever he's saying there is obviously not true. Hopefully you guys know that. If you don't, because I know it was 3 years ago, again, Eric Dubé donated money for me to do an experiment that we did 3 years ago that my wife and I did at the beach in Monterey. I call it a success. I don't know how you can call it anything differently. And then this most recent one was an experiment I did at the canal with Enrique. We had a bunch of people show up. There was probably 15 people there both days. And it was not a success. It was a failure, I guess you could call it. It wasn't a proving the globe. It wasn't a proving the flat earth. It was a waste of everybody's time. That's what it was. It's upsetting. It's not what you want to do. It's not the way that you expect your experiments to go, but it's life. And so I can get over it. But obviously these people want to keep harping on it and say this is a hit piece. Well, I look at it and say if I would have done the experiment like I wanted to, then everything would have been fine. But who knows? They would have taken the experiment if I did it good and it proved the flat earth. They probably would have taken the piece of it that didn't, that showed something else. So what are you going to do? That's why I'm going down this Sunday again to check out this experiment by Nat Geo, because I want to see what they're doing. I don't want that to happen again. One of the bad things, and this is something that I got screwed on, is when they said, hey, can we come film the experiment? I said, sure, come film it. And I took it. I said, oh, great. I don't have to film it then because this documentary crew's coming to film it. So that takes a burden off my shoulders. So I can worry about the laser. I can worry about the test. So I got there, set it up, worried about the laser, did the test. When I asked them for the footage, they told me no. So I said, oh, I didn't film it. And they said, oh, well, sorry, we're making a documentary and we can't give you the footage till after we either sell it or make a documentary or don't make one. And I said, well, I need the footage because you guys filmed it and I didn't, and they didn't give it to me. So, I mean, I had a bad taste in my mouth with these guys from the beginning. I didn't think they were very honest with me, but it is what it is. The movie's out. What are you going to do? Or the movie debuted. So you can't cry over spilled milk. So it is what it is, but Matthew, do a better job of researching that. I mean, that's so terrible. And to have Katie say it's the little intricacy, the little intricate details that you people don't pay attention to. No, I think it's the little big details that you guys aren't paying attention to. So before you accuse me of being an actor or whatever else you've accused me of, FBI in my bedroom and baby skin journals, you should check yourself. So the other person who made a nonsense claim at me, or whatever you want to call it, we're going to go to YouTube, this one. And I saw this video just today over my little right side little feed. Was real happy with this one. So this is called Flat Earth Jeranism, I guess, by Mr. Slice Barcane. But I just wanted to point out here what desperate steps these guys go to. Pretty sad. So let's see here. Hopefully you can hear that. I'm not sure if you can hear it. And am I on the right? Yeah, you're watching. So this is Slice Barcane's video. See if this makes any sense at all. Basically, oh, by the way, the description here says, just another quick proof that jeranism will lie to get views. Lie to get views. Okay, whatever. I did a live feed the other night in which I showed for a small period of time a balloon launch from San Francisco. So here's his 3-minute and 21-second video. Balloon footage. Okay. And yep, this is my live video number 21. This is number 22 that you're watching now. Let's see here. What is he? Is he talking? Maybe turn the volume up. Oh, it's me. I'm talking. But I want you to watch it because I think it's probably one of the better looking balloon launches I've ever seen. Yeah, I agree. I would dare say it's the best. It is beautiful. But interesting is, at least I think that there's either 3 or 4 cameras on it. So I said I think there's either 3 or 4 cameras on it, and then he goes and lists all these cameras. I guess that's me lying, because I didn't write the actual cameras on the screen like he did. Makes a lot of sense. And then he says here, if you watch his little text, and I was talking during this time, and then what I'm doing as I'm talking to you guys, just like I do in this video, is I'm live, and so I have my video player up, and I was skipping past them launching the balloon. Who wants to see that? So he says, did you see that? Did you see that cut that Jaren made? Did you see that time? What? See what? Oh, so I cut. It's a rather odd cut. I'm live. What do you cut? What do you mean a cut? I'm doing a live video. I cut it live? That makes a lot of sense. This guy, obviously, he does good research, right? And this is why none of these guys have credibility with me. No. I mean, they've all, burned their bridge long ago with just nonsense, complete horseshit they make up, and they call themselves about the truth, and they're so scientific, they can't get anything right. So why would I listen to a word they say? It says, Jaren didn't want to show you the distortion of all 4 cameras. I didn't want to show you the distortion of all, what? I showed the video of the camera, of the balloons, the balloon launch. So did I block out one of the camera views? First of all, let's look back at this picture here. So he says, I don't want to show you the distortion of all 4 cameras. Where do you not see distortion? Which camera has no distortion? This one's got a ball. This one's looking down, it's a ball. This one's looking up, it's a ball. This one here has no distortion. Looks flat and level to me. And that was the point of my video, saying, hey, look at this image. So what is he saying? That this is a distorted image? Well, what happened, Sly? They took the ball earth and then flattened it out? What are you talking about? This is the image. If it's not what you usually see in photographs, it's because it's a wide-angle lens. I said it's a regular lens, meaning it's not distorted like a spherical ball, like the nonsense that you guys jerk off over. Okay, it's an ultra-wide-angle lens. It doesn't mean it has no spherical aberration. Yep, and then I said, that's incredible, because the sun is right there. And he says, yes, that is incredible. The hot spot on the water means the sun is near and directly above Monterey Bay. Well, considering the sun cannot go above Monterey Bay, probably not. We are north of the Tropic of Cancer, by the way. And then it says here, all info on balloon is available on the Night Crew Lab site. Oh, my bad. I didn't go there. It says the original balloon video was less than 6 minutes long. There is a link to the complete balloon setup in the video description. There's no way that Jaron did not know what I just showed you. This means he knowingly lied to you about the footage content. Is this guy for real?
Oh my god.
Did somebody sit down and make that video? So this is how Jeranism lies for views. That I got views because I put a 5-minute segment of some balloon launch in my live video? What are you talking about? It's really pathetic that that's how you try and discredit me. You run out of ideas to build up your ball earth some more. You have to say that I'm lying to get views. Just nonsense. So I don't know. I don't why I would ever watch another one of that guy's videos. It makes no sense. It is complete and total garbage. And if you go to let's see here, where is that little page? So if you go to this one, nope. This one, nope. Oh yeah, this one here. All right, so this is the Night Crew Labs little site here, and I went and looked at uploads once I watched their video. They have, what, 6, 7, 8. 8 uploads. The longest one is 8 minutes. And, I mean, look at these guys and their absolute worship of this spherical camera. So I don't even know what Sly's trying to point out. What distortion? The camera was one of the best cameras I've seen. It's a wide-angle lens. It's a $2,900 camera and a $750 lens. So no wonder why it's the best, looking I've ever seen. But they put this thing up in the air, and then here comes... I mean, look at this. Who does this junk? Like, Sly, do you see this? Do you see how when the camera goes down, how it bends? Is this reality? Is this what you guys think is cool? Look, we live on a ball. Everybody, look, we live on a ball. Everybody, look. Look, it's spherical. Look, everybody. Look how cool it's spherical. Oh, we went the other way. Now it's concave. Oh, convex. Oh, now it's a ball. All right, and the blackness of space out above around it. See how cool? Oh, look at this. Oh, that's how the Earth really looks. Oh, it's a ball. There it goes. Bend, bend, bend. No, bend the camera. Bend. There it is. It's a ball. It's a ball. Oh no, it's bend. It's a ball. Told you it's a ball. Sphere. Oh, bend. Bend, bend, bend. Come on, bend. Come on, bend. Please bend. No, don't go that way. Yeah, bend. There it is. Ball. Ball. Ball earth. Get a straight edge. Ball earth. Up, ball. Ball right there. I saw a curve. Ball. $93 million. Oh, the ball. 93 morphing mountains and rivers. Yep, there we go. That's the sun behind the ball earth. What a bunch of nonsense. Just, I mean, what are you trying to say? I don't even understand what you're trying to say here. What was the point of your little video? These guys are just like everybody else. This is a completely nonsense view of the earth. I don't know whoever thought of it. I don't know how they put it in people's heads. That's how much control they have over people, that they can just say, GoPro lenses are cool, and then everybody's like, yeah, I want to see the Earth as a big, stupid sphere. Even though you'll never see that. Doesn't look like that at all. Let's see this one. Did they do the same thing? Oh, here we go. Good. Bend. Bend. There, ball. Ball Earth. Ball Earth. Just right there. See it? See curve? Keeps curving. Looks like a ball to me. Yeah. It's crap. And, there we go. Look at that curve. Oh, now we got the black ball. Oh, black ball. I'm going to get copyright for that. I didn't want to pay attention. Look at the morphing of New Mexico and California. It's cool. Yep, right there. I always see that happen. Yep, I was driving on this road at that time. I got completely thrown off the road. I was into the ditch. I didn't expect the Earth to morph so quickly. Oh, look at this ocean right here, bending. There's the curvature. It's right here. Measure that, Nat Geo. Yep, measure that curve. Measure that right there. Yep, right there. That's the estimated amount of curvature you're supposed to have. Look it up. You'll find out yourself. Go do your own experiments. You'll figure out this is exactly the right amount of dip that you're supposed to have. Dip right there. Dip. It's curved. It's curved. I mean, I don't know who questions these things anymore. We've known this for thousands of years. It's kind of ridiculous that people today, idiots, Aristophanes proved it years ago. So, anyway, but then you watch this one, which is the one I was showing, and heaven forbid, I'm going to skip through this part here. I'm not trying to skip for any particular reason, just because I don't think we want to watch this part. Isn't that creative? And this camera, oh, look it, it's not sphering like a ball. Interesting. I don't see a lot of morphing. I don't see a lot of bending of rivers. Just the camera whipping around. And this is a wide-angle lens, but it doesn't have the spherical aberration. We'll look at that in a second. See this? Why is the ball not hooking? Where's the hooking? Well, that's what I meant by a regular camera. I said this is a regular lens. The other three are GoPro. Usually people know what I'm talking about. See this camera? This is called GoPro. See this bend here that's not reality? It's called GoPro. And I said, I like this camera, best I've ever seen, because it's not doing that. It's not morphing. That's the Monterey Bay. It's exactly what it looks like from a plane. It's not making it into a ball with the blackness of space behind it. So, basically that was what I want to show you there. Let's go look at these couple things here. Spherical aberration, just so we know what that is, and then what is, because the type of lens that they're using, so this is, they're using a Sony A7S. It says flies on the night crew labs mission. Oh, you want to see this, sorry. Got to switch it over to the browser. There we go. So this is the Sony A7 camera that they used. Very expensive. They talk about it here in this little same video we just watched. But it tells you which lens they use. So I went and looked it up, and they call it a E-mount wide-angle zoom. So I think he's saying like, oh, Jaron told you it's a regular lens, but it's actually a wide-angle zoom. Yeah, the point was that it's not distorting the image like the other three cameras were. So I'm confused what he's saying. Is he actually saying that the Earth is a ball regularly, and then this camera bent it out of ball? I don't really understand. But you look up this particular lens, this Sony 10 to 18 millimeter f4, whatever, and you find out some details about it. $750 lens. Ideal for landscape photography, emphasizing perspective. This Sony wide-angle zoom lens features built-in optical steady shot and image, whatever that's called, image stabilization. Down here we can see that it's got a circular aperture design, 10 to 18 millimeter focal length, ideal for shooting landscapes. This says 109 degree to 76 degree angle view. So I don't know if he's saying, if I said it was a regular lens, he said no, it's not. Well, what's a fisheye lens mean? I mean, a fisheye lens, isn't that 180? Let's see, fisheye lens. Pretty sure that means 180. Let's see here. Do we see how many degrees? Fisheye lens uses special mapping, which gives characteristic non-rectilinear. I just wanted to see if we could see if it's a certain amount of degrees. I would think that, yeah, here we go. Full frame fisheye. The picture angle produced by these lenses only measures 180 degrees when measured from corner to corner. These have a 100 angled degree. So we just saw that the camera that we are looking at, and it doesn't have what they mean by, where are we at here? Yeah, so this little article here, what is a fisheye lens? A fisheye lens is a special type of ultra-wide angle lens. They are small, ultra-wide, and show a distorted spherical view of the world, most evident in the curved outer corners of the photo. Okay, that's what a fisheye lens is. A fisheye lens happen to work very well underwater. Says this gives you a few types, shows you what they look like when you get this little ball view, which is exactly what we see when you're taking your balloon launches and you want to show that as a ball. Same thing here, we can see what a normal camera looks like, and then we can see what a fisheye looks like when it distorts the image. We can clearly see here, this is a flat fence post, and what happens when you do a fisheye lens, that you get this curve, which you guys want to call the Earth. Properties of fisheye lenses is that they usually focus very close. You can get very close to subjects. They perform well behind dome ports. When shooting ultra-wide angle, you benefit from a large depth of field. They're small and light. You usually need at least 2 strobes with good angle of coverage. Fisheye lenses and focal length, talks a little about that. Then talks about barrel distortion. When reading about fisheye and regular wide-angle lenses, so this is the difference here. They had 3 GoPro cameras that were fisheye and 1 wide-angle lens. So I called that regular. I don't know what's wrong with that. You will hear a term called barrel distortion. This distortion causes curved lines at the edges of the photo, which is what those distorted ones did. This is a negative aspect of cheaper rectilinear wide angle, but this is not a cheap rectilinear wide angle lens that we're talking about. That was a very expensive one at its widest settings. However, on fisheye lenses, this is the main feature. This is why they're called fisheye lenses, and the barrel distortion should not be viewed negatively. But it would be in that large camera if you pay $750 for it. Land photographers will sometimes use the software to correct the distortion of a fisheye lens. What is a rectilinear lens? Is any lens besides a fisheye. It is important to note that the 17 millimeter on a fisheye lens is not equivalent. Fisheye lens is good for nothing. That's what it basically should say. And a rectilinear lens is good for shots with straight lines. So anyway, I was just pointing out that I don't see any issue or anything that I lied about. If I said regular lens, I meant it shows the world as it is, not as it would be in a ball world of fantasy. So that's my definition of regular. I apologize if I should have said this is a wide-angle lens that looks real. Is that better? Is everything good now? Are we good now? Good. Let's see what else we have here. So we got that one done. We have, we looked at the price of this one, got that done. And just showing what spherical aberration is. Oh, because it has an aspheric lens, which is important because an aspheric lens or a sphere is the lens whose surface profiles are not portions of a sphere or cylinder. In photography, a lens assembly that includes an aspheric element is often called an aspherical lens. The asphere's more complex surface profile can reduce or eliminate spherical aberration and also reduce other optical aberrations such as astigmatism compared to a simple lens, and it can be replaced much more than a complex multi-lens system, and it results in a smaller, lighter, and sometimes cheaper than the multi-lens design. And it is used most often, aspheric elements are used in design of multi-element wide-angle and fast normal lenses to reduce aberrations. So, I mean, if you don't know, like all your telescopes have spherical aberration. That's because they're, unless you have a real expensive one, they all do. And that, I'm sure, is talked about in here somewhere. I don't know. Maybe it's over here. Oh, so this talks about spherical aberration, showing you where the focal point would be in a ideal lens, which is not really realistic. But any kind of a telescope is going to have some spherical aberration. Talking about it here. Positive spherical aberration means peripheral rays are bent too much. Negative spherical aberration means peripheral rays are not bent enough. The effect is proportional to the 4th power of the diameter, inversely proportional to the 3rd power of the focal length. Does some math here, but basically that's what's going on. It says, for small telescopes using spherical mirrors with focal ratios shorter than f10, light from distant point source such as a star is not all focused at the same point. Particularly light striking the inner part of the mirror focuses farther from the mirror than light striking the outer part. As a result, the image cannot be focused as sharply as if the aberration were not present. Because of spherical aberration, telescopes with focal length less than 10 are usually made with non-spherical mirrors or with correcting lenses. And that's why I got rid of my telescope, is because I took the lens off and looked through the lens of my telescope, and it was bending the world. I saw a car in the driveway bent like a sphere, like a fisheye lens. And I said, what the hell do I want this for? And somebody said, oh, that lens is just correcting what's happening to the telescope. So I says, who? I don't want images that are corrected for me. Thank you very much. Who wants this telescope? I don't want to see something that somebody says, oh, those things were coming in bent, so we had to bend it in a sphere for you. Oh, really? Thanks. I'll pass. But anyway, let's move along. Spend too much time on that. We did that one. And what's this one here? Oh, this is just showing the camera. We saw that too. So that was that. So I don't know if you guys saw this article. Just brought this up so you could see there was a New Yorker article. Another one, what do you expect really? Another one talking a bunch of mess about flat Earth and the craziness that it is. But I wanted to show this one part. I mean, things like this that are said and just passing that, it's just ridiculous that people keep believing these, keep saying these things. Human engineering seemingly takes Earth's curvature into account. No, they don't. Lighthouses are deliberately built tall so that the beams of light can be seen from ships far away. Like, that wouldn't be the case on flat Earth. Oh, it's a flat Earth? Actually, let's not build lighthouses anymore because we don't need to, because boats further away don't see further if the light's up high in the sky. Let's just put lights that spin on the beach about a foot high because it's a flat Earth. So we don't, it doesn't matter that they could be 1,000 miles away and they're going to see this little light on the beach. Why do we need to put it up high? Ridiculous. Come on, let's think here. Radio towers send their signals dozens of hundreds of miles by bouncing them off the ionosphere. Yeah, I'm sure you've tested that and you know that. Which wouldn't be necessary if the Earth were flat. Oh boy. A long bridge appears flat because it parallels Earth. What? Because its span parallels Earth, but its supports betray the curvature, and the towers in New York are more than 1.5 inches apart at the top of the bases, because somebody said that. This guy loves things that people say. He says here, of course, such arguments prompt further questions. If the Earth is actually flat, why does the sun rise or set? Where does it go at night? If it's true that the sun and moon never actually dip below the horizon, but instead travel in wide circles around the North Pole, what keeps it aloft? Because in our model, gravity does. Gravity holds the Earth. It holds the huge, heavy, massive Earth. It holds it in space. Maybe you guys have seen me do Universe Sandbox before. You can go to this game, Universe Sandbox. You can pull up a live right now video, or it's not obviously live, it's simulated. A video of the Earth right now, and the Earth is just sitting there. As much as we talk about the speed and how much it's flying through space, because these are all numbers that need to be true in order for space to be real, and in order for their dreams and hopes and aspirations of going to Mars and living in suits and eating potatoes, in order for those things to be true, you need to have these speeds. The problem is that if you just look at the Earth right now, we're just sitting here. The huge, entire, massive Earth. Think of if the Earth was a ball. Think of how much everything would weigh just on the crust. And then think of everything between the crusts. Think of how heavy that, and then it's just sitting there in space. Here we go, floating through space and time. It's just floating here. I mean, it's just nonsense. Again, I understand you were taught it. I understand you don't want it to be true. But that doesn't make it true, He says, what keeps it aloft? Because gravity does theirs, obviously. And what about all those satellites I've seen being launched into space? Well, check the Bermuda Triangle, check the Atlantic Ocean. The responses recede along a path of half-baked to evasive. Talks about me a little bit here. I highlighted the part that I was interested in. So let's understand this little paragraph here. He says, flat Earth logic is by turns mesmerizing and maddening. There is no gravity, nothing to restrain it. But as a theory, it explains fewer phenomenon than the theory it seeks to supplant. In the corridor, I met a documentary filmmaker. There were several milling around at the conference who had been following the flat Earth community for months. His face bore a look of despair. If you're going to dismiss everything as a hoax, you better have something clear to replace it, he said, his voice rising towards apoplexy. If you tell me your car isn't blue, and I ask you, well, what color is your car? Don't fucking tell me I don't know, but it's not blue. What color is your fucking car? Now, we need to think about this here for a second. If the entire world has been lied to about space not being real, about the shape of the Earth, how the hell would we know how it all works? Like, that's what's important? If you're gonna dismiss this as a hoax, then you better have something clear to replace it. Oh, I better? No, I'm sorry, I don't. So go ahead, believe your lies. That's obviously more important to you. I'd rather have a lie that works. Oh, Larry, your wife's been cheating on you, and nope. Well, with who? I don't know with who. She's just been cheating on you. Nope. Sorry, you need to tell me with who, or else it doesn't matter to me. I'm just gonna sleep with her every night. It doesn't matter. Don't tell me that your car's not blue. Don't you tell me what color is the car. If that's how it's like, don't you realize they taught you to be that way? When they sit you in desks in school and say, now we're going to give you all the facts, and you just need to regurgitate them and write them down, and that's all that life is. That's how you become smart. If you're smart, you'll repeat what I said verbatim, and you'll be able to bring it up at any time you want. And the difference between that and somebody who's not smart is that person won't remember what I said and will have a hard time bringing it up whenever I want them to. That's how you get along in this life. It's ridiculous that none of us had these red flags flying all over the room in our heads, just like, wait a second, this is not what would happen. This is not how you would teach a society. And when you look at the rich and the powerful and the elite, do you think they sit around in boardrooms saying, how can we make the population smarter? We want them to be as smart as possible so that they can come and take my money and take my family's wealth. So let's write textbooks where we put all the answers in there for them so that they can discover everything for themselves. They'll be so smart, they'll come in. I mean, my oil business will be gone in a month. This would be great. And my Hershey's candy business will be over once they realize the problems that sugar I mean, nobody saw that. We just all sat there like, yes, give us the answers. We will all be smart together. This is the way it's not the way you would ever educate a society. Ever. It's so clear. I mean, that's indoctrination. That's what that is. When you sit people in a room and you say, you will all believe the same thing. And guess what? They don't want you to be smart. That's the dumbest thing in the world for somebody rich and powerful. Yeah, let's make everybody smart. No, it's how do we make these people dumb and make them think they're smart? That's the way you do it. So we got to come up with a plan where we make these people idiotic. We make them completely, brainwashed with TV and music and sports and go my team and hate your team. And that's what they want. Because then you have no clue what's going on. You go work your job, pay your taxes, pay your gas, pay your bills, and you never have a clue that these guys have run off with the world. That's what happens. And that's what's taking place. And if you can't see it, I can't help you. I mean, once you're explained it, I don't know what else needs to be done to help you. You just really, it's like, I was watching some show the other day. I forgot what it was, a debate or something. Somebody was talking about the medical industry and how certain, these holistic things are helping people and not these medications. And, one of the people said, wait a second, if these things are true, then why haven't the doctors come out and said it? Rather than, it's like, holy smokes. I mean, it makes no sense. The doctors have all been trained and brought up in the same system you have. And they've all been taught how medicine works and how they heal people. And that's what they all believe. So when somebody comes along and says, I think that possibly, these immunizations are hurting our children, then they all are going to say, what are you, crazy? We were all taught that they're great. So you're a loony bin. That's how it works. So when everybody's taught from the age of 6 that you live on a spinning ball, and even though we all sat there in class like, and you can all deny it all you want, but I have a feeling every single one of us had that same feeling of, what the hell are you talking about? We live on that? Well, how? How do you live on, where's the water go? But you know what? You couldn't ask a person. You couldn't bring it up in class. You couldn't mention it to your teacher and say, how does this all work? Because he'd say, scientists have figured it out. And if you still didn't believe it and you went home and said, hey mom, hey dad, do we live on a ball? What are your mom and dad going to say? Well, of course we do. Scientists have figured it out. Well, geez, who do I go to? Go to your sisters, your brothers. Do we live on a ball? Of course we do. That's what science figured out. Oh, geez, okay, I'm sorry. And you ask your friends and they laugh at you because that's what they found out. And so that easily, the whole plan is laid out. That's all you need. And then you've got people believing that they live on a spinning ball simply because they've been given some stupid explanations, even though it all comes with such ridiculous numbers and such ridiculous facts, which we're going to get into in a second here talking about gravity, that it's crazy. It's crazy. It just really is nonsense that people can't see it. And again, if I believed in the ball Earth right now, I don't even care if I believed in it wholeheartedly. There's so many things that would be red flags to me, like Stephen Hawking going out and botching and faking an experiment. How dirtball do you feel if you're a globe believer right now? How does that feel to know that you're out there preaching that something is so scientific, it's so perfect, it's so mathematical, and then you have Stephen Hawking, the world's smartest man, he was, now he's, well, I don't know how long he's been dead, but I think he's dead now. Might be, might not. Anyway, he goes out and to perform this experiment, it should have been the most perfect experiment ever done. It should have squashed flat Earth into the ground with no way for it to get back up. That's what you'd expect as a, I believe in the globe. We got Neil deGrasse Tyson, and we've got all these professors, and we've got all these books, and Aristophanes, and then you should expect flat Earth to be smashed into smithereens. But what happened? They went out and faked an experiment. Faked it. Got the numbers off of a curve calculator and plugged them into those guys' voice box and made them say that. That's 6 feet. Now we're at 6 miles and it's 24 feet. I mean, come on. I feel like such a dirtball if that was me. I just wouldn't be able to live with myself. Like, how am I going to keep preaching this and pretending like I'm smart for doing so? And this is what we're given? I mean, astronauts that can't decide whether or not we can see stars in space. No camera on the moon. The only technological advance in the history of the world that's gone backwards by 50 years. I'd really like to go to the moon, but we destroyed that technology and it's too expensive to get back again. What are you talking about? How does that make any sense? None. Makes no sense. It just doesn't even make, it doesn't, how are you okay with that? How do you just like, I guess there's no 24/7 view of the Earth. Oh yeah, well, they got important things to do and they've been in orbit 18 years but there's no 24/7 view. Why not? Yeah, but we have the Himawari, the camera that shows Australia. Yep, because that'd be real tough to take some high altitude plane footage and wrap it on a ball. Probably take them about 4 or 5 minutes, and those pictures come across when? 10 minutes after they're taken. Interesting. I wonder what they could be doing during those 10 minutes. Doesn't make a lot of sense. And then you just got the moon nonsense. I mean, come on. If that is the biggest sign for me. And that's another thing. Talking about people like other researchers that do poor research on me. I mean, you think I'm supposed to take Red's rhetoric serious? The guy thinks we went to the moon. I mean, come on. I mean, that's hilarious. That's funny. I mean, there's no other deciding factor. There's no more line to draw in the sand than somebody who believes that humans have been to the moon. I don't know if you guys listened to Theo Vaughn. He was on Joe Rogan. He also was on Eddie Bravo's show, or he had Eddie Bravo on his. He's not a conspiracy guy. He's afraid of it, really. He's very new to it all. He's just been introduced to it the last 2-3 weeks or so. But I was listening to his podcast the other day, and he said that he met Buzz Aldrin. And funny, it's so funny to hear him say, he met Buzz Aldrin, and he said, that guy doesn't look like he went to the moon to me. He said, there's no way. Then he said, that there's no way that the first time we went to the moon, we did it. The first time, 250,000 miles, we just put people in a craft and they went and everything's fine. He brought up a thing. He's like, first time I tried to drive to Jersey, I ended up in Florida or something. It's just classic. This is how we all live. The first time you try something, you make a mistake. You can't, nobody gets up on a motorcycle and just drives off and, I know how to ride a motorcycle now. Everything's good. No. Everything takes time to learn. Everything takes, you don't just go to the moon. You don't just go to the moon, pop out, dance around, get a phone call from the president, plant a flag, do some tests, jump back in, launch from a craft. It's never been on any foreign body before. The engine's never been lit. These guys aren't even scared. 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Oh, hey, here we come, Houston. Ridiculous. Your life's on the line. I mean, listen to Neil Armstrong land, Eagle. It's ridiculous. There's no nerves in his voice at all. Why? Because he's being lowered on a crane in Nevada. It's not very nerve-wracking. But when you're on the moon, come on, give me a break. Give me a break. Oh, I see some super chats. I gotta check these. Let's see here. I'll read these. Please stop fighting globe theory, blind supporters. Yeah, I agree with you. Focus on building a simple, pragmatic, proof-based, logical body of evidence and let the proofs speak for themselves. Thank you, Antonio. Appreciate that. Yes. In fact, I mean, the hardest part is that I want that experiment. That's what I want. And I just talked about the 4-mile one, but I'm thinking we can go bigger. We can go much bigger. Once you get out to, distances 25 miles or more, you're talking about such huge amounts of curvature that they can't be refuted. I mean, but granted, we see mountains 175 miles away, and we just need Mick West to come out and say, it's a refraction and a standard refraction, lifting mountains. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Mountain ranges being lifted miles high in the sky, displayed for you on the horizon. Makes a lot of sense. Let me see what else we have here. New super chat message for you from Matthew North. Oh, thank you. I don't know what that means. Thank you very much. Your comment and message will be public. Okay, what is going on here? Those are not messages. Take my money. Thank you for that. I don't know what that means, but this thing was supposed to be able to help me read these, but now I'm not seeing them. I'll check those in a second. You said ball from Hulk Smash. You said ball. I said ball? I don't know what that means. Ball. When did I say ball? I don't know. If I meant to, I didn't mean to. Whatever. Anyway, I got off on a tangent there. But, so I was reading this, or did I finish reading it? Oh, flat Earth logic turns mesmerizing and maddening. There is no gravity, nothing to restrain it, but as a theory, it explains fewer phenomena than the theory it seeks to supplant. Oh, yeah, I read that. Sorry, my bad. But that was basically it. I just think people don't get it. That if that were the case, we're not trying to come. I haven't heard anybody come along and say, and I listen to a lot of people who make videos, Phuket Word, and people who are pointing things out because we're not saying that we're smart. Sorry, we're not saying, oh, we know everything. We know how old the Earth is. Hello, my name's Jaron, and the Earth is 14.54 billion years old. Actually, the universe is. Earth is only 4.54 billion years old because we've actually done some radiocarbon dating on the argon, potassium. Give me a break. That's ridiculous. Why would anybody try and act like they know that? Oh, you know the age of the universe? Sure you do. Sure you do. But that's the people that are trying to act smart. That's ridiculous. To even say those things, people don't understand the difference between science and guessing. You're taking a look at things today and saying, this is where I think how old the Earth is. Great. I'm glad you think that. That's great. Why is it in school books? Why are you teaching children? Why are you saying it's a fact? Why are you saying we have to believe it? I don't have to believe that. What's your evidence? Oh, well, carbon dating is only good for 40,000 years, but we can't use it on aquatic things and no fish, no sea life because they have a different amount of carbon. Then shut up. Then what? Just give me a break. I've seen people take dating samples from lava that came out of a volcano, settled. They went and tested it, came back a couple million years old. So what? Okay, there, right there, it tells you that anything else that you're measuring a certain date for, you're probably wrong. But the scientific paradigm is that everything has to match their world. So of course everything matches. The numbers all match. I always use my example of my theme park. I know it's probably getting old to most people, but again, for somebody who goes around saying how much math is important and how math it proves reality and this and that, I can give you the mathematical specs for my fake theme park. I can give you a book of them. It will tell you every step, every stone laid where, and how exact distance from here to here, and the trajectory of different rides, and how many the attendance figures, and the money that the concession stand brings in, and it's all completely fake. The math works, but that doesn't make things real. It's just math. It's just numbers on paper. What is math? What is math that people think it's so great? It's just, there's so many tricks in math that, here, I'll do a trick for you. Want to see a trick? Let's go to a trick. Watch this. So if somebody were to, if I got some smart person like Reg Rhetoric or something said, here, we're going to do a little math thing here where we'll do a little box here. And this is like magnetic, or what do they call them? Magical squares or something like that, I think they're called. Where you do these boxes of 4. And I said, okay, Reg, you're super good at math, so let's have a race for the first one who can make every box in every direction add up to the same number. And you have the numbers, whatever you want, 1 through 16, since there's 16 boxes here. And I just need to know the pattern to win. That's all. And then I could say, somebody in the chat, let me get a number here. Somebody in the chat, give me a number 1 to 100. Any number, 1 to 100. First one to write a number in there, I'm taking that one. Any number, 1 to 100. First person who puts it out there. I don't see one yet. Still not yet. Still not yet. Yeah, you can assign any meaning you want. It's just another language, like Spanish. Is Spanish prove reality? Well, it depends. No 17 boxes, Bob. 16. All right, first was Flat Joe went with the 69. All right, 69 it is. So if I told somebody else, hey, these boxes have to all add up to 69, you can't use the same number twice. People would be like, what? And they, even mathematicians might not know. But by knowing the code, which I do know, watch me get this right. I hope. Nope, I did wrong. I think I need to go, wait, 7, yeah. Yes. Sorry, I had to think. Yes. 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 I think that is, oops, thinking, sorry, I got it wrong again. Thinking. Yes. And then here, and here. And then here. And here. And here. And here. And what else would we have? What else do we need here? Trying to think of the numbers left. So we have a 13 and a... And what do we have to add up to? What was the number again? That's how much I'm paying attention. 69. No, 69? Shoot, I think it was 69. 69, so this would be a one of these. And this would be a one of these. And this would be a one of these. And this would be a one of these. I don't know. Did we get that right? 49 plus 1 is 50. 69 going this way. 11, 8 is 19 plus 40, 19, 21 plus 48, 69. 51 and 3 is 54, 64, 69. 45, 54, 69. See that? This way, 69. This way, 69. That's a magical square. Now, this is just math, but it's just I just know the pattern. Doesn't mean that I am smart at math or anything. I just know the pattern. But math can be used as tricks like that. It's just because somebody figured out the pattern. And if you want to learn it, it's very easy. You just start out by thinking 9. So whatever number you put there. Was anybody impressed by that? Do you want to learn how to do it? I don't know if anybody wants to learn how to do it. Probably not. If you ever want to learn, you can ask me and I'll teach you. It's pretty cool. What did Bob say? Oh, thank you, Bob. Well, you really could do little squares too, this way and this way. You're a mathematician. No, I'm not. Did you like that? I'll do another one for you. All right, well, here we go. I'll teach you how to do it. Then you can say you learned something from me. All right, so what you do is whatever number we put here, so let's do, I don't know, we'll do 44. Watch once, because this is all you get. So start with a 1 in this box and an 8. Think 9s. So you go 1, 8. Then go another 9, 7, 2. So you got another 9 here. Then you're going to go 3, 6, another 9 there. Then 5, 4. So you just added your all 9s. Then put your 9 here, your 10 here, your 11 here, your 12 here. This box is this number minus 20. So we got 24. Then you add 1 to here, 25. Add 1 to here, 26. And minus 1 from this number here, 23. That's it. So 24, 25 plus, so did I get this wrong? 19? Nope, 44. This one, 11, 8, 19, 23 and 2 is 44. 15, 16, 17, 18, 44, 29, 35, 44. It also goes this way. 44, 24, 8, 3, 11, 44 this way. I think you can sometimes take these little boxes, 24, 25, 33. Yeah, this box right here is 44. 12 and 7 is 19, 21, 44 in this box. 10, so you see what I'm saying? That this is, numbers are not proof of anything other than that they've been created in a way that you can manipulate them in crazy ways. Want to see another? I'll show you one more. People like these, I guess. Show you, well, now you know how to do that one, but I'll show you another one. If you ever want to do a magic square, like a, we're going to do a 7 box here. Watch this. I think it only works with odd numbers. Hopefully I don't get this one wrong. I'm probably on a roll. I think it only works with odd numbers, so Oops, we'll do 7. So if we have 7 rows, oops, come on. 2, 3. There we go. Over here. And that's 4. And if I do that, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There, 7. All right. So that's 7. And then we're going to go 7 this way. This one's really cool. This one's fun to do. You could, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I mess that up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So you go 7 by 7, and then you can pick any number. Let's see here. So 7, I think 7 comes out to, is it 145 or 150? I don't know. I think it might be 150. But watch this. This will trip you out because this shows you what can be done with math. So start with the number 1. And the rules are you always go to the upper right. Okay, the box to the upper right. If there's no box there, you drop down to the next one in the column. And if you run into yourself, if you get blocked, then drop down. Watch, I'll show you. So I'm going to start here. 1. So I go to the upper right for 2, but I can't put a number there, so I drop down here. 2, 3, 4. Go to the upper right, I go over here. 5, 6, 7. Now when you get to a number that you're blocked, I'm blocked here, so you drop down. 8, 9, 10. Again, we're going to go up, so we drop down here. 11, 12. Go to the upper right, we're over here. 13, 14. Blocked by the 8, 15, 16. You'll see what it is in a second. 17. Oops. 18. 19. Go up here, we drop down here. 20. And we go up here. So we drop to here. Oops, I hope I got that one right. Wait, 11. Where did I get 20? 19, 17, 18, 19. Go to the upper right. Drop to 20. Oh, no, it's 21 over here. Sorry, almost screwed that up. 21. Get blocked. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. Well, this certainly wasn't planned for today's show. 27. 28. Upper right. And which would be, where do we go here? No, we're blocked. No, wait, 28. Oh, shoot, I lost it. Where do we go? Upper right. We move to this one, so where do we go? It's blocked by, I think it goes here then, 29, because I'm blocked. Then you go here to 30. Up, this one would be 31. 32. I don't know if you figured out what's happening yet. But you can do this with any number, as long as it's an odd number of squares. So if it's, I don't know the even, I don't remember the even way. 34, 35, blocked, 36, 37, up, 38, almost done. Shouldn't have done 7, should have done 5. Oops, almost screwed that up. Gotta pay attention here. 38, 39, 40. It'll trip you out when you see what it does. 39, 40, 41, 42, 43 because I got blocked, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. Now I just made a magic square out of this square, and every row adds to the same thing. So 22, 31 is 53. That'd be 93. 93 plus 50 would be 143 minus 1, 142, 143, 144, 144. Yeah, so it's 175. So it's a magic square of 175. Every row, every which way will count to 75. This way, this way, this way, this way. We can check me. Let's check, I don't know, here. 5 and 14 is 19 plus 16. 35 plus, what's that, a 25? I don't know what that is. 35 plus 25. So we're 60. So we're at 94. 94 and 45. 94 and 40 be 134, 139. Yep, 175. So, isn't that cool? But you can do that with any, I don't know the answer to them. You know, it's not always 175. It changes with each box. But you could technically do a magic square with 100 boxes. If you follow that exact pattern, remember it's a 1, go up, start at the middle of your squares. That's why it has to be odd. If it's, 111 boxes, then you would do find that middle box and go 1 up to the right, which will drop you down to here, 2, 3, 4. If you ever get blocked, drop down, and you will get a magic square where every single direction. So the point of this was, before I got off on that crazy tangent, is that math is crazy, and that numbers can be manipulated and changed and figured out. It's a man-made system. It's not divine. It's not from the heavens. It's a man-made system to where they can make anything work that they want. And that kind of will lead me into a little bit of what I was talking about with gravity. Because if you really look at it, let's look at what gravity is, or at least what they tell us it is, and really think about, I mean, you could make an equation if you're Newton for anything. Because they're taking a number like the gravitational constant, first of all. Oops, that's a weird color. We'll leave that. So, I mean, we could say that that love equals the product of two people's masses over the time that they've been together times the love constant. And really, it could equate to, it could come out to anything. And this could end up being true just because things are built based on that equation. Doesn't mean that the equation is reality. It doesn't mean that in any way. I mean, when Newton came, Newton didn't know the gravitational constant. He just called it big G. It was in his equation, and it was multiplied by, So let's look at like what gravity tells us here. But basically what I'm trying to say is you can take these numbers and manipulate them however you want, and that's what they've done, and then they've gotten stuck, because now that you've adopted these numbers, you have to stay with them. So, I did have that I was going to show you, but I'll do that after. Talking about length contraction, which is hilarious. But let's say that so the force of gravity, oops, I still might up there. So they say the force of gravity equals the product of the masses. So you got M1, sorry if I mess this up, M1, M2 over distance squared times big G, basically, right? What is this number? What is big G? Well, it's 0.00000000667,408, I think. All right, so this is the number, or as most people know it as 6.667408 times, sorry, my writing's bad, times 10 to the negative 11. All right, so this is gravity, right? This is what they call this number. And it's so important. But here's the problem with gravity, is that they say this force, the F button over there, the F, sorry, I don't know math equations, I don't know the exponent, whatever. The F force, the letter F, is measured in newtons. And yet, if you're talking about M1, M2 over distance squared, well, that's not measured in newtons. What's that measured in? That's measured in, what would it be, kilograms or pounds, whatever. Kilograms over meters, kilometers, whatever, meters squared. So these two numbers don't equate. They don't. How do you match this up? Well, you can't. So how do you make them equal? Well, they basically take it and they say, okay, well, if this won't work, then let's see what newtons are measured in, or let's see what gravity is measured in. And big G, which they need to have, is measured in meters squared over kilograms squared. So now you've got this, and then you can say times newtons, and you basically cross cancel, right? So now both the right and left side of this equation are basically even in the modern equation. And it's still in the modern equation. Even in Einstein's, this isn't just like saying go back in time, let's talk about Newton. Even in Einstein's equations, they still have gravity. They still have big G. But why do we have big G, right? Well, if you think about it, what do you got there? Oh, cherries, thank you. Miss always bring me cherries, I love that. G is used by Planck in the Planck length, which is the shortest length humanly possible. Anything less than that doesn't exist. And you need G to calculate that. And it is the result of G, and then as a result of that, you get Planck time, which is the shortest possible time period possible, because that's how long it takes light to travel the distance that is Planck length. So, you have this number G, which isn't even, they don't even have it calculated. They don't even have it right. In fact, if you look up, I don't know if you know what the co-data list of physical constants, guess what holds number one spot? What is the most, what do they call it? Highest uncertainty. The highest uncertainty is big G. And why? Because they can't measure it. They can't, how do you measure gravity? Every item, whether you have an apple or you've got a tree or whatever you're trying to measure, there's everything supposedly on the earth. You got the earth, you've got rocks. Well, you can't measure anything because everything is gravitationally attracted to something else. So then you realize that Cavendish's experiment is a complete and total joke. Look that up online and you'll see he had a shed. Basically, here's my shed, which has walls. What's in this wall? What's in this ceiling? What's in this wall? He hangs from it this torsion balance thing like this, and it's got little hanging balls from it, and then he puts a telescope through this wall and this, and his shed in 1790 something. Or maybe it's 1790 something. And then they like have a little pulley over here and they make this thing spin, and then they calculated how, but you just saw the number. We're talking 0.00000000067, 667408. Nobody calculated that. They can't calculate it today. So, then you have to look at, okay, well, what happens with gravity? Where else is it used? Well, if you haven't paid attention, they have what they call quantum, they've got, everything matches quantum as far as Einstein's relativity matches the quantum data. Everything does, but not gravity. In fact, gravity has no connection at all to any of the other fundamental forces. None. Doesn't interact with the electromagnetic force, doesn't have any connection to the strong or weak nuclear force. So you've got all this stuff on one side of the wall. Over here you got all these things that are working in quantum mechanics. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Quantum mechanics, you've got, it explains supposedly, of course, these other fundamental forces, but gravity's left all alone. Because it does, but again, gravity makes the Earth a ball. So they can't get rid of it. Doesn't matter if they can't measure it. Doesn't matter if they can't derive it from other things. Like there's a lot of fundamental forces, or what you'd call fundamental constant forces, that are derived from other things. Like, okay, we can measure this and we can measure this, and therefore this must be this. Which makes sense. You can do that. That makes sense to me. But you've got a problem when gravity is responsible for other things. Like I just said, the whole idea of the Planck time and the Planck, those are numbers that they need in physics. Those are numbers that they use all the time. Yet they derive from gravity. The reason that there's a small, tiny little Planck time or Planck length is because gravity is so small. So it basically comes down to there's no measurement of it. I mean, they tell you it's measured. Oh, they'll tell you all the time, well, we got all this. They can't measure it. It's got the highest uncertainty. And it can't derive from anything else. And it's actually responsible for everything else. So the whole world that they've built is on basically nothing. It's on a Cavendish experiment from the late 1700s in a shed, and he's only 1% off with even the number they give now. So do we believe that? You're going to believe that that's been answered? And gravity is the fundamental thing that makes the Earth a ball. Or could it be that they're all struggling because they have to hold on to the thing that makes the Earth a ball? Whereas a lot of things would be answered, a lot of things would be easier if they got rid of the whole idea of gravity, but they don't, even though it doesn't explain the universe, and they've got to add all these other things. And you've got people like, I'll go over here and see this and drop you off over here. See if I got these pictures up here. You've got, hopefully I have this up here. I think I do. Let's see here, is this one? Oh, that's the logo. All right. You got Richard Feynman saying that, talking about the cosmological principle, that the assumption that we have just mentioned implies a very strong uniformity in the universe. It is completely arbitrary hypothesis as far as I understand it. Again, go look up arbitrary. It means has no backing. It's complete nonsense. It's just made up. It's up to each person. So the cosmological principle, and if you look that up and find out what that is, to find out that that is something that is a completely arbitrary, I'll look that up for you so that we get the right name, because I don't want to screw that up for you. Oops, I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing. Arbitrary, one more time. I just have to bring it up again. Based on random choice or personal whim, rather than any reason or system. And talking about the cosmological principle. Simple. Just to give you that exact definition, in modern physical cosmology, the cosmological principle is the notion that the spatial distribution of matter in the universe is homogeneous and isotropic when viewed at a large enough scale, since the forces are expected to act uniformly throughout the universe and should therefore produce no observable, no observable irregularities in the large-scale structuring over the course of evolution for the matter field that was initially laid down by the Big Bang. So if there's no reason to believe that other than it's what they believe. It works with what they want. So again, it's just like the numbers. There's no reason to believe that the sun is 93 million miles away other than it has to be. That's the reason to believe it. Because if it's not, then the whole entire beliefs of all scientific goes away, of all science goes away. So they don't want that. Let's see here. What else did I have here? So I've got, which one's this one? Hey, my Patreon. You can patreon.com/jeranism. I have another video coming out soon, very soon. Actually, it's almost done. I could probably get it done tonight. This girl here, Michelle Thaler, I don't know if you've seen her. She made a video basically saying Flat Earth is a joke. But she's got all kinds of speeches out there where she says things like this in an interview. So we don't know what 96% of the universe is. We don't know what 96% of the universe is, and that's a problem. Anytime you want to talk about how the universe began, how it's evolving over time, or how galaxies and stars form, what are you going to say if we don't know what 96% of it is up to? So the talk is going to be a little bit about the history of how we could be that stupid. How could we say that 96% of the universe is in a form that we don't even know what it is? Where do we go from here? And how do we find this? And this person, you want me to believe her? She has a right to tell me what shape the Earth is? And she just admitted, we don't know what 96% of the universe is. Well, then you shouldn't be telling people what it is. Then you probably need to get off TV, because that's the biggest joke ever. You're on TV. You're on TV talking to people and telling them what the universe is. You don't have a clue. Again, trying to be smart, trying to act smart. And then I have my other video with the Undertaker coming out soon. Oh, not Undertaker. It's Aaron Raw. That's right. So that should be coming soon. What else I have here? Oh, I just thought this was funny. A little picture of the lunar module. Where did the people go? They stay in here. This is where they stay. Doesn't look like there's much in here. Remember, this thing launches out of here. So this thing came back, or went up and docked. Again, this is hilarious to all the moon landing believers. What was this necessary for? We needed to make a model of the moon because that helps them land, or what? Doesn't make any sense at all, does it? Unless you're faking it. Yep, this is all needed. We need this track. We need the little go-kart track with the moon exactly to detail from over here. We need the detail. We need the paintbrush, and we need to make sure it looks exactly like the moon for our little car track, for our little Disneyland ride. Yep, make sure you paint every single crater identically to what our telescope shows, because we're going to lie to people and tell them we went to the moon. But people will believe it, and they'll argue about it 50 years from now. I will make a statement right now. This is my honest opinion. Future generations will laugh at us. Will laugh at our generation that we believe that people went to the moon. It will be hilarious to them. Like, what do you mean? How could they believe that? Oh, this is something I was just looking at earlier. And I drew this for you. So I don't know if you know about the whole idea of length contraction and Lorentz contraction, which basically says that near the speeds of light, things actually shrink in size. And so they have this whole little, whatever you want to call it, a paradox, or they call it a, little thought experiment, that if we got this ladder and let's say this little hole over here in this garage opens up and there's one on the other side you can't see. And we're going to send this ladder through the garage, but we're going to send it so fast that according to modern science and relativity and Einstein and everybody, that this ladder will actually shrink in size, and it would, for a moment in time, be small enough to fit inside this garage. Now, you can believe that if you want. I certainly don't think that's just nonsense, right? But let me tell you how nonsense it is. You have to remember that if we did that, we send this little ladder through, and all of a sudden it fit for that split second. Great, fantastic. Well, people are forgetting that we live in what they call a relativistic world, meaning that we don't know what's moving, whether it's the ladder or it's the garage. The garage could be moving. If you're sitting on the garage, according to Einstein, according to relativity, there's no way to know whether the ladder's moving or whether the house is moving. So if that's true, then let's say the house is moving. Well, the house is moving, it gets its length contracted, and you just had a garage that's too small for the ladder get smaller. So what is this? Is this science, or is this complete and total malarkey? And this is a belief. I'm not like telling you something that's like a theory. This is like what they believe. That length contraction is a thing. it's used in equations and things, even though it's nonsense. I just disproved it. If you don't know which one's moving, and something going extremely fast shrinks in size, so they say, oh, the ladder shrinks so it fits inside the garage. Okay, well, let's say we're sitting on the house now, not on the ladder. So the house shrunk, but it was already too small to fit the ladder in the first place. So then there's no way it could fit the ladder. But well, if we're the ladder, we actually... Give me a break. Get out of town. If the garage is moving, then it is the item that has its length contracted, which means that the already too small garage would get smaller, and so, of course, the ladder would never fit if it was too big from the start. Genius. How about that? Here's a little quiz for you. See if you first one to get this right. Anybody know what video this is from? It's funny because these are like hidden inside a music video. I'm sure people know. But I just took some screenshots of it because I don't think I ever really noticed them. Newton's apple floating there. And that, yeah, look at that. Composite photo. They're trying to show you composite photo. Look at the guys on the moon here. And it's, if you believe, we put a man on the moon. Let's see here. Or, what do we got here? Oh, I was just going to show you this. Or is this all I have left here? Oh, so a while back, I was going to call him Ace Ventura. Jim Carrey had a website, kind of crazy. These were like the pictures he had on the website. I don't know what's going on here. Guy playing hockey on top of a roof, dog. But he had some pretty crazy images on his website. Who knows what's going on in his dark head here. Little fish, this guy over here. But if you go a little bit further, you see he's got this baby in the eye. You've got this crazy picture, which has got the moon up here, satellite dish, hot air balloon, a little oil dripping from his hands, and then this next one is classic. I wonder why Jim Carrey has a picture of astronauts hung by strings. Anybody any ideas? Anybody have any ideas of why astronauts, smart, intelligent scientists who are on the space station doing science, scientifically speaking, and really banging out the science, why would they be on science strings? What is Jim Carrey trying to tell me here? Astronauts, smart, intelligent, educated Air Force fighter pilots turned scientists under oath on a space station. Can't figure that out. I don't know. It's weird though. It's got strings, and same time you got him in the background here in the end scene from Truman Show as he's walking to the wall. We got guys in space and strings. Can't figure that out. Oh, and you know who this is, right? It's Apollo. Apollo, fake world, astronauts on strings. Got me. I don't have any idea. Can't. Nope. Nothing. Anybody? Nothing for me. Can't figure that one out. It's too tough. But his website's not up anymore. It got taken down, and I don't know why. So what else did I have to talk about? I don't remember. We talked about, I think we got it all. We talked about gravity. Yep. Oh, wait. I had something over here. Nope, that was that. We talked about that. Length contraction. Was just showing you it's really a thing here. Oh, you're probably not looking at what I am. Sorry. I went backwards. I did the space thing. I regressed in my abilities this week. I did better last time. I'll have to fix that. I don't want to be like science and space travel and regress for 60 years and not go more than 1/10 of 1% of where I did 50 years ago. That'd be pretty embarrassing. Pretty embarrassing. Yeah, so length contraction, it's a thing. Just make sure you realize it's not saying like this is a hypothetical or anything. It is, length contraction is the phenomenon that a moving object's length is measured to be shorter than its proper length. Yeah, right, sure. Lorentz contraction or the Lorentz-Fitzgerald contraction. And again, these are all things that are needed to keep this make-believe thing going. And that's what it is. It's just all that. There's no other reason for it. So, why is G 6.67408 10 to the negative 11? Well, we don't know. Nobody knows. It's just what Cavendish measured, and it equals out. It's like, again, they know the weight of the Earth from backwards reasoning, because they know G, because Cavendish did his experiment, because of this, everything is just a roundabout nonsense. Where's the proof of anything? Where's the proof of the distance to the sun? Well, we know that the sun is 1 AU. Yeah, you can say that all you want. Okay, 1 AU. And, oh, because of Kepler's law. Yeah, but you don't know about Kepler's laws. Those aren't facts. What do you mean? Well, it all works on... Yeah, now it does. Just like I could show you my little number square there, and all my numbers add up to 150 or 145. Because I knew the little code. So that's all that they've done, is they've manipulated numbers, squeezed equations. When you can write an equation like, oh, the mass of item 1 over the mass of item 2 divided by the distance squared, and then you put it with a constant, and that constant is 0.0000000067648. I mean, come on. We need to be smart enough to realize that, yeah, their numbers work in their mathematic world, but I mean, we don't even realize. They're like, oh, well, Newton created calculus. Oh, yeah, he made up a math. He made up a math for it. So, okay, great. And it works. Yeah, well, it works. It's just like my number square works. What difference does that make? Same thing. It's just little tricks of the trade. And, I don't know how we get it across to people until I agree with that super chat, by the way. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. But I'm trying to find that experiment. So that's why I'm going down Sunday. Let's hope that whatever Nat Geo's doing is something more expensive and extravagant than I can do with my little laser that won't hold a beam. And if anybody's got any ideas, send me an email and put experiment in the subject. But it needs to be something, number one, it can't be too expensive. I mean, that's obvious. It just can't. If there's a chance of it failing or something, there's just no way. But it needs to be something that is definitive, something that can't be argued. I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough. There's a guy I'm emailing with that I know during this email, he has like a mail group. I didn't even know those things still exist. But in this mail group, he's already put up $100,000 for anybody who believes in the globe to prove it up at his lake by his house or something over a 10-mile stretch. And nobody is taking him up on it. And then I asked him, well, can a flat earther take it? And he said, nope. He said, there's been enough experiments from flat earthers proving that the earth is flat. He wants the proof of the globe. Besides just, oh, well, boats go over the curve. No, they don't. Nope. Well, you go look at Soundly's footage. Nope. We've shown you Phuket Word's bridge where the same thing's happening over no distance. We even see a guy ride off on the bike where his bottoms disappear and you just see a little red shirt riding off, and it looks exactly like we see boats that ride off into the sunset. Same thing. Everything that they're throwing at us, we've seen it. And again, yeah, if you want to just believe what we've been told, then there's no chance that you have of ever believing flat Earth. Never. How could you? There's so much evidence for the globe. And I say that, I'm not misspeaking there. There's so much evidence for the globe because they've spent 200, 300, 400 years building up evidence for the globe. That's why there's so much. There's books, there's this person, there's teachers, there's professors, there's movies, there's videos, there's pictures, yeah, of course. How else would you deceive people? Can't deceive them by not putting that stuff out. So you have to be able to fight it on your own. You have to be able to observe your world and make up your mind. And I know that your senses don't always get things right. I know that. But if somebody's going to disprove your senses or tell you that your senses are wrong, then they better come with extraordinary evidence. And believing that you live on a spinning rock in space with this endless universe of whatever they say, 700 quintillion stars or something ridiculous. I don't know what they say. But if they're going to say that, then they have to have the kind of evidence. I mean, again, go watch Joe Rogan's show. It's hilarious to watch this guy. The things that he believes, because he's now adopted this science mindset, that he told Theo Von the other day that there is a planet somewhere with gay people who have sex and have babies. And Theo Von says, you don't believe that? And he says, absolutely I do. There's an infinite number of universes. There's an infinite number of us. There's an infinite number of different... So there's a gay planet where people... And he's dead serious. Because that's what you have to believe. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's what happens to you when you've gone over to the dark side. Now all of a sudden you've got infinity monkeys on infinity typewriters, and you've got all this made up stuff that has no evidence to back it at all. There's no evidence of anything infinity monkeys of anything. Because it doesn't exist. There's no infinity monkeys, so stop talking about it. There's no infinity universes, and there is no mirrored universes, and we're not somewhere else doing the same thing. It's not even worth talking about. It's not worth it. It gets you nowhere. And we've got all these theoretical physicists that just mull around coming up with ideas that have no backing. And this flat Earth thing, the worst thing about it, I'll leave you with this. The worst thing about it is it should be over. It should be over. What are we doing every day? What a waste of time to argue about it constantly when it's just should be over. And the person's problem, the people who have the problem here, is not the flat earthers. I don't think they don't have a problem. They're saying, hey, we're being lied to. Here's why we think that we're being lied to. And you've got this other group that feels they could never be wrong. So where do we go from there? Flat earthers are at least admitting, wait, we used to believe in the globe. We clearly could be wrong. Show us the evidence. And you're saying boats go over the edge. No, they don't. Oh, well, the curvature on the moon proves, no, it's not a proof of anything. Come on, keep coming. What else you got? Well, we've got, physics has been, okay, well, physics works on a flat earth. Well, if we go up higher, then we see further. Yeah, that works on a flat earth. Well, if we lay down on the sand and then we get up, we see the sunset twice. Yeah, that works on a flat earth. Geniuses, come on. Let's use our heads here. Like, there's no problem with globe earth believers turning to NASA and these scientific agencies and saying, hey, we want proof of the globe. There's nothing wrong with that. Force them to prove it, and then we all are fine. Then you can turn around and say, see, told you, dumb flat earthers. Or, oh, you guys were right. But if you never turn and say anything to them, then you've just got us, 10%, sitting around saying the same things over and over again, and you having the same dumb arguments that don't work. And that will just be, forever? Because you can't take 20 minutes out of your life and say, maybe you're wrong. Maybe you were taught a lie. That it is possible for you to be fooled. It is possible that somebody could have pulled one over on you. And it wouldn't even be difficult. Think about when this all started. It's about, the late 1500s, 1600s. When was the printing press invented? So the first time that they're able to print books in mass and hand them out is the time where the globe deception took over. And we've already learned through different science experiments and tests that there's a certain number, some people think it's 10%, that's what the tests seem to prove, that once you have 10% of the world believing something, that the others just follow suit. Which sounds crazy, but they've done tests and I could see it happening. And then I look at the way the globe went and I've always said, how did they get the world to believe it? And then you realize, well, wait a second. If you put out in textbooks and you tell people they're smart, and you give people degrees and say you get a degree and you get a degree and you get to graduate and you get to graduate as long as you believe this astrophysics book. Okay, well, I believe it. Great, you pass. And you, sir, do you believe it? No, I don't believe it. Then you don't go through. You're an idiot. Go work in the sawmill. You're out of here. Then a couple years later, this guy that you just moved up, he becomes a teacher. And then he believes it because he read it. And he believes it wholeheartedly. And your deception is done. Then anytime somebody brings up flat, you just smash it, laugh at them, say, genius, look at these guys, they went through 4 years of college. Who are you working at the sawmill? It's a very easy thing to do. And the only thing they would need to do is fake space. So when you look at space, ask yourself, where's the helmet cam footage from an astronaut getting into a rocket, putting the helmet cam up to the window, not cutting the video, and them flying to space and getting out at the space station? Where's that video? Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Where's the camera on the moon, which we would have by now because it makes all the sense in the world. It's how you teach children. Why don't we have a camera at the at the South Pole taking 24-hour videos of the sun going around? Why is there no monument somewhere that proves the curvature of the Earth? There should be a monument in Utah. There's so much empty land out there. Go buy a stretch of 6 miles, build the, force the line experiment, and then teachers can take their children there for field trips. And it's proved. It's proven right there. But none of that stuff exists. Why? Because they didn't want you to think about it. They didn't want you to think about it, and there's only one reason for that. You don't teach something to 6-year-olds and then put it in every movie and video and commercial and logo and everywhere that everywhere looks in this globe. And of course, we've always known for 2,000 years that we've lived on a ball, and we've known from 2000 BC. When they force that down your throat, there's a reason. I mean, that's enough of a reason for me to say, time out, we need to look into this, is when you just look back and say, how was I taught this? Was I taught it with like physical experiments? Hey, let's go do this so that we prove that we live on a ball. hey, let's go do. No, we weren't. We were handed it on a silver platter. Here's the globe. Here's how it works. We spin in space, and the sun is huge. And that's it. And you don't hear them talk about things that we know are true. Like, why do they never talk about the fact that things going off in the distance shrink to the horizon? But they just don't mention that. Don't mention that planes go fly off into the horizon, down to the horizon line. Don't mention it. Because somebody might start thinking, nope. Remember, globe believers think that the line that we see at the beach or at the horizon is because of the earth that we live on. If that's true, then remember, railroad tracks meet at the horizon. So then you have to believe that magically, by some magic sense of magic, that the distance that something goes before it appears to meet at the horizon happens to be the exact distance that the ball curves away from you. Or do you think it's an optical effect? Meaning things go to the disappearing point, like the railroad tracks, like the water, like things in the distance, and they all go to that point and disappear. And that's the horizon line that we see. It's an optical effect. It has nothing to do with where you live. It has nothing to do with the ground. And we know that. We fly up in a plane and the horizon comes up. But they say, oh, we're getting higher, so we see further. Well, you're not seeing further over a ball. Just ridiculous. Anyway, I think that's it. I should check if I have any more super chats. Hey, thank you, Brian Godoy. Appreciate that. I debated Greater Sapien. Oh, really? What channel is that on? I would like to watch that. I think I was at, were you on the non sequitur show? They asked me to do that debate. I said, no. I didn't like you guys last time. Oh, you did? Was that... Okay, I'm going to check that out. I hope you did well. I know it's tough. You got those three guys. And, something that people don't know, probably, that guy, not Steve McRae, but the other guy that's on the non-sequitur, he doesn't even believe we went to the moon. He acts all scientific over there. He doesn't believe we went to the moon. So that's one thing to know. Maybe that's to help somebody in the future debate. Bring that up to him. Say, hey, don't you not believe in the moon? Because I've heard him, he kind of will say some things sometimes. When I was on the show and talked about the Rice experiment, he said he was going to do it. Now, I don't know if he has, even though Steve McRae was over there saying it's impossible, can't possibly happen. I said it happened, I did it. Well, no, you did it wrong. What was your null hypothesis? What was your G, what's your gravity level? What's your... Steve, go do the experiment. Go do the experiment yourself, and then make up all the excuses you can for why science lied to you. It wasn't me. I think... I don't know if I got more than those. But thank you, everybody, so much for the super chats. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I need to say. So I talked to everybody about the video. Yeah, I got the Florida shooting video will be out soon. The Aaron Raw video, the Michelle Thaler video. And because somebody reminded me, and I have the Titanic video. It's so far done, but I have to go back and a good 5-10 minutes of the middle is I've changed my mind on. So until I do that, I cannot release that video. And it's not even like a major point, but it's kind of, it is kind of major. It changes a lot. But yeah, I can't leave it in there. It won't work. Even if I say something at the end, it's too good of a video. Sorry. But that'll be coming too. So I know, so the meetup down in Arcadia, if you need any information or want to RSVP or whatever for that, you can contact Netta, and I want to say it's Netta073, but I'm going to find out real quick before I say that. Netta073 at iCloud.com. If you want to get any information on that, again, it's 405 South Santa Anita Avenue, Arcadia, California, 5 to 8 p.m., June 8th. It's in a park. I will have my dog with me if you want to bring your dog. And Mark Sargent will be there, Patricia Steer, and Rob Skiba. So at least that's the latest. Don't hold me to that. If they don't show up, I do not know where they're at or babysit them. So they can do what they want. But last I heard, they were going to be there, and I do think all of them will be at the Salton Sea on Sunday with National Geographic and me and my camera. And this time I'll get to play the role of filming somebody else do an experiment in case they pull a Jaren and suck. So I think that's it, guys. So Be kind to each other. Don't lie to each other. And again, as always, do your own research, because if you do, you'll never again believe what you've been taught. That is the truth. Till next time, guys, this has been jeranism. Peace.